Check, mic check, 1 2 1 2. What is going on, everyone? I hope you're well and doing great on this Monday. It's being coined, right, as Melt Up Monday. A lot of people look like or believe that we are entering into some parabolic price action. I would like to say that a lot of people did not see this coming, but you all know that we saw this coming. You all know that as price was in correction after the spot ETF launch and price went sub 40,000, that we went ahead and was, you know what, likely in February, we will take out that high. Now, that's exactly what happened. If you look overhead at the seasonalities over here, February is historically a green month in Bitcoin. Now, we were coming off of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months in a row. This potentially will be the 6th month in a row of green Bitcoin action. It is a lot. I only am aware of one other time that Bitcoin had 6 months in a row. You can see in 2020, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. Nevertheless, you never know what is going to happen. And when we talk about never know what's going to happen, even though the discretionary view was there's a good chance in February that we will likely, but that's to sell the news type of event. Well, we quickly discerned that very day with the help of Dylan, what was happening over here, that we were seeing obviously some sell pressure coming from Grayscale's liquidation of GBTC. Once that subsided and we continue to see really consistent inflows into the spot ETFs, that consistent buying pressure, along with across markets over here, NASDAQ continues this morning making new all-time highs. We are just looking at a very favorable environment. Now, that might change soon, but rather than trying to pick the top, we're just going to continue following that momentum, following that price, and stay on the right side. Even though speculation said that there's a good chance we'll make that new all-time high, we didn't know. If you're following over here and you take a look at very closely, you could see we were long going into the launch of the spot ETF, and then it had us taken out of the trade, and we were just here on the sidelines. And if price was not able to make that recovery, we would have remained on the sidelines, and or once momentum returned to the upside, taking longs. Or if there was a sell the news type of event and price were to come off substantially, we would have then been obviously executing on the sell side. Bitcoin here, this is a nice day, holding an open position, 13% into profit, once again roaring in the bliss. And that we can see over here, we have Bitcoin roaring in the bliss, new account all-time highs. We're looking at Solana and Cardano both roaring in the bliss and on the sidelines ever since. And Ethereum needs to play catch up. This is a fantastic review or reminder of why that diversification is so important. What do I mean by that? Well, if you go back over here to when Solana, October, November, into January, was making that run up with Cardano, Bitcoin and Ethereum were largely sidelined. Late in November, Ethereum made that new account all-time highs and Bitcoin over there, but they were doing the work over here. And now some people are like, oh, I'm on the sidelines for Cardano. I'm on the sidelines for Solana. You could see both of them continue to be sidelined over here. But Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing the lifting right now. Ethereum holding double-digit position as well, 10% into profit. And you see that Bitcoin here, 12% into profit. on both versions, CTM 2.0 and CTMX on the top left and right. You see over here on the 8-hour version BTC 108, it got into the position a little after, still 6% into profit. Same thing with the buy side only on the 8-hour time frame. And the daily time frame over here got the best entry of all, holding 16% into profit. And that, my friends, is how you do it. This is beautiful, right? Glad to see you join us over here. That's I want to go back to that euphoria, and people are wondering, rightly so, are we looking at some type of melt up occurring in the markets right now? And you know what version I wanted to look at? Our halving version, where we are right now entering above 49,000, a particular really important point to find out and watch the price action of what's going to happen. If I were to continue with my discretionary hat right now, I would say, well, this morning we are into resistance right here, right now. I think it's rather important that we're able to hold above the peak of the close over here. It's right around 49,000. I would like to see price be able to close and hold above that level. You all know that we talked about potentially taking out that high and then watching to see whether or not we're able to hold above and then continue that move. We remember down over here, sub 40K, put out that number. Well, 57,000, there's a lot of space in between over here. And that's something that obviously I would not be surprised about. People will begin pointing to the RSI at this particular point being very overbought. And you all know at certain periods, overbought could remain overbought and oversold can remain oversold. And to be honest, even though we're pretty good, right? Whether you want to go back to calling the Bitcoin bull market breakout December as price went above 17,250 and the majority of the field was just significantly overly bearish, or just maintaining that the whole 2023, never getting an invalidation, doing our best to stay on the right side. I believe it was some point at the end of January. I'm not sure. I know that Luke remembers pointing out what the expectation was of that 49,000, pointing to the 0.786 retracement fib. And, that's all well and good and fine, but it's nothing compared to having a mechanical solution that is able to take the emotion out of it and stay on the right side. I don't know what happens with these trades that we're in right now, whether or not they go on to carry further. Tomorrow is CPI, and tomorrow, assuming that we get a benign reading, right? A benign reading for me would be forecast is 0.3%. If it comes in lower, if we get a sub 0.3% reading, 0.29, what does that do? That's going to continue saying, well, those deflationary forces continue to carry in the right direction, and people are going to look out and they're going to say, you know what? We have more runway than we thought we had. We have more. Everyone's looking for the market to crash, and this has been going on for a while now. If we look at, and I do want to look at over here, the stocks with you, is very important. I mean, TQQQ, this is literally one of our weakest solutions. This is on the 1 hour time frame. Since 2023, it's up 53%, right? Now you can come to some NVIDIA here on, it's holding an open position, 40% into profit on the daily. But if you remember, coming back to this area over here in June, we were out doing spaces, and the other analysts were saying that, this was way overvalued, it's way overbought, and we're looking here now for a crash. And on that space is like, oh, I don't know about that. Let's watch the earnings. Right now, people are looking for chips. NVIDIA has the chips. And regardless of what you think is happening, look at 40% open in profit. Who would have done it? Who would have thought? Start in 2023 over here on the 1 hour time frame for NVIDIA. Look at this massive start to the week. And then in another position here, 13%. Do you really think that your TA is going to outperform what we've built here together? within CTM. FNGU on the daily time frame, 38% open position in profit, right? It's absolutely beautiful, and it just is a reminder here for you to really dedicate what you need to do in order to be able to execute on a highly elite level. And for most of you, that means putting away the discretionary hat. Is real. Forget your TA. TA is beautiful. I love it. You love it. But it's not really helping you achieve the goals that you want to achieve. FNGU here on the 1 hour time frame, up a nice another 8% over here. What is that since? By the way, this is on CTM 2.0. There's not much of a difference. This is since 2023 when it was released. 260% with a 19% drawdown. CTM X solution, right? It's on par. The drawdown and the return are basically the same, but this has been a period in 2023 where you're looking a lot of upside momentum. I mean, this is for sure some sideways price action through the summer of 2023 until we got to the end of October. But largely it's been upside price action. CTMX, as we look at some chop, as we look at some even downward price action, even though this is a buy side only template, we'll do a much better job in protecting those gains. And again, without trying to guess, this is the daily time frame on Tesla since 2023, taking you short. You looked at FNG, you looked at NVIDIA, short here on Tesla. I mean, whether you're trading buy side only on Tesla or both sides, being on the right side, knowing when to be in the market, when out, and on which side is absolutely priceless. Looking over here on the 1 hour, the shorter time frame remains here out of the market after attacking the downside just a little bit. And that brings us back to where we are. I don't know what is going to happen next. I mean, I get that the NASDAQ here is printing some nice new all-time highs. And a lot of people, right, have really thought this already had come too far too quick. And a lot of people thought as we broke 16,000, the November 2020 high, 16,750, a lot of people thought we had come too far too quick and this was going to roll over. It keeps extending out. And rather than trying to guess, rather than listening to whatever analyst out there who's giving their view, sharing their bias with you, developing a plan in the markets, an edge in the markets, and working on simply executing. And that takes a lot of work. I saw it coming over here last week as some people, right, whether you're trading 108, most of the community is trading BTC 107. After that, it's CTM 2.0, right? Both of these obviously elegant solutions, but we have a lot of people who trade on the daily, right? And there's also people who are trading a good amount, trading on the buy side only on the 8 hour time frame. Maybe not in 2023, but overall, it's more profitable, right? And obviously, feeling late to this entry over here, some people, the emotions got the better of them. I remember very recently, though, that it was different. I remember right over here that BTC 108 in December taking this beautiful early entry and putting up this nice gain. Why I was late to it. But for me, it's just another individual trade. You have to learn to take your emotions out of the equation and start thinking long term. It's the only way that you are going to truly be able to conquer the markets. And that is what we are here for. We are here to be able to do some legendary things. Listen, look around you. There are a tremendous amount of people shoulder to shoulder with you that are performing on a highly elite level. When I say highly elite level, if you're able to outperform 99% of hedge funds, you are performing on an elite level. Some people still have expectations of I want it and I want it now. You need to focus in on that. It takes time. That's what we're here for, to help each other develop and be able to achieve not only our goals, but to perform on the highest level. Just taking a look at the markets over here. Let me see that we're looking at the NASDAQ. It's still in the green, up 0.25% today. Looking at the S&P 500, Russell, everything is looking pretty nice. Dollar unchanged. Dollar unchanged ahead of tomorrow's CPI. This was, I'm just going to take a look at it. I'm trying to find where we would be looking for a potential sell impulse, right? We know at the beginning of the year, first week of January, as we got back together, we saw the buy impulse kicking. And I said, you know what? That's really difficult. I mean, it could be potentially close your eyes moment, but for me, it's very difficult. And we went ahead and we watched this little range over here. Upon the breakout of the range, price has made another leg up, right? And then last week, a third leg up into some pretty strong resistance. When I say pretty strong, you could see the support, the resistance. We got this trend line above us. I mean, if I were to be a little bit more acutely focused on this, I might want to bring this down, that line, because I'm seeing where the market has just recently paid attention to it on these 2 points over here. I'm fine with giving it the little room though, right? But I want you to be aware of that. This line is just simply the structure of the market. The structure of the market going back all the way to 2008, by the way. This is on a linear chart. People tell you can't do it on a linear chart and go look at this much history. Don't listen to them. You can do whatever you want. You could develop your own TA, one-touch trend line. Those who know understand the significance and importance of it. But if you go back to 2008, this is the structure of the market on the DXY, on the dollar, right? And watching over here, we're into strong resistance. If we break above this resistance, if we see tomorrow not inline expectations, if we see any surprises where we're seeing month over month, because year over year is expected to come down tomorrow pretty significantly. Year over year is expected to come down over here from 3.4 to 2.9. That looks good. If month over month, or we saw core tick up a little bit, or there was some type of surprise that would really allude to the fact that, you know what, expectations of the markets are mispriced right now and rates are going to be higher for longer. At that point, we see the dollar make another leg up over here. We then, at that point, we could be looking at a range of the dollar where we could be ticking up over here towards this trend line. Am I not on the right one over here? So this whole time I've been using my pointer, and unfortunately, whatever, I was on the wrong screen, but now we're good and we get to continue forward and it'll just be a little bit of cleaner. Greetings out there to Germany and everyone else around the world. Let's go over here and fix this over here. I guess I'm gonna go. Let me just jump back over here then. And we'll go without the pointer today. I was just a little bit off. Boom, 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 boom. So Brian, itching to move up on the stop loss, discretionary. Let's take a look at Bitcoin over here for a second with a discretionary lens and just take a look at what's going on. And generally speaking is that, like, the longer a trade stays into profit, like however long it carries, those are the trades that begin rolling deeper and deeper and deeper into profit. And I remember, or I'm reminded of early January 2023, right over here. And this was coming off of 2022, right? 2022 is down price action, bear market. People are a little bit fatigued. And then you catch this entry over here, right? Just below 17,000 and better than our discretionary call of the bull market breakout by a good $500. But that's not the point. The point was coming into the CPI over here, first week of January, holding an 8% position, and people are like, you know what, CPI, I'm worried about it. I want to protect these profits. Some people took profits overriding their plan. And that was a good lesson though. For many people, it is what, first of all, then helped them commit to trading a mechanical strategy. And for others, it helped them really have greater faith in the plan they were trading, seeing what it did and how it performed. But, you know, the trade was 8% open into profit at the time. And then you saw the CPI come out and then price continue to extend. Now, I don't know if that happens again or it goes the other way. If I have no way of knowing. I have no crystal ball, and all as I do is have a well-developed edge in the markets that I know that why this particular trade currently is sitting in nice profit. I don't know where it's going to end up. We know that it's really on the 8-hour time frame, really quick to take profits. If price were to begin to shift the other way, that we would be getting out at this point and taking some nice profit. I prefer that than moving a stop loss and putting a stop loss that potentially will take me out of a trade. Because don't forget, even though the win percentage over here is, this is since 2023, right? It's 2023. Let me just go ahead and give us what expectations are, right? From 2022, the bear market, what's the win rate over here? 42%, which is a little bit more of what the historical was. If we put in 2021 over here, right? 41% from 2020, and then we'll call it whatever the win percent is, expectations, 42%. Is that true? If I go back to 2014, is that the win rate? 45%. 45%. I feel like something. 45. Bear with me 1 second, y'all. Okay, a confirmation on that. And if I feel something that is might be out of skew, I want to just make sure and confirm that we got the right thing going on over here. And see that? I'm glad I had the long enter on the crossover checked off on that, because I knew that's not correct. I knew that the drawdown was way off over there. And that, you know what? That's a good, actually important reminder for everyone. And if you have alerts set up and you make a change, don't forget that is going to affect the overall performance. I'll come back to that in 1 second. Not here live, but this is our correct performance win rate of 44% with a 12.53%. And then that's from 2017. Okay. There we go. Perfect. So point being is I don't know what happens next, and I'm not going to adjust the discretionary stop loss to protect a 12% profit, because I don't know where this trade's going to end up. And if this trade is one that goes on to take 30% out of the market and I were to cut my profit short, I'm really doing a disservice to myself in the long run. But if I were to see or get worried where potentially we were breaking down, and just from a discretionary standpoint, I would say that, that's a sell impulse in the market. We're very far above it. We would be out of the market from our system trading well before that sell impulse triggered. If we were to trigger that sell impulse, right, then I would say that likely, we've hit the top of the channel. Don't forget this resistance that you're looking at. You can see these 3 touches back over here in July of 2022 into August. This is boom, boom, boom. And I would say that we've hit the top of this range over here. If we hit a sell impulse, we have a decent amount of support I could see off of here. And then that's the resistance. So support and resistance. So I would expect us to be able to look for potential bottom of that channel and range over here. And then if we didn't, we know that then we're going to be testing the bottom over here. But that's not where we are now. We're not even close to that right now. So we don't need to be looking over there. By the way, what are yields doing today ahead of the CPI? And they continue, right? That upside resistance right around 4.2% on the 10-year. I am just, we called and we looked at when we had the buy side entry, the support over here, right? This is just some sideways consolidation right now. I'm not looking, and talk about discretionary trading. What a fantastic job we did on the breakout of the descending channel over here, right? Flipping long, short, long, holding it almost to the top, and then calling the sell impulse until we wrote it all the way down. It's just time to wait and give it room. That's what I'm doing over here right now. I believe it's time to let that develop to a lot clearer signal that's not there right now. Oil, right? So after that, as we looked at that buy impulse coming into resistance, yeah, just giving it room as well. If things aren't clear, there's no need to force it. There's really no need to force anything. It's not clear, and stick with that clarity. And let's see, I think there might be something else that we wanted to look at over here. Let's take a look. I'm just gonna borrow this line, this structure over here. I'm gonna put it off the top, and just so you can see off the wick, you can see the resistance that we've come into, right? We were watching to see, again, expectations were that we would in February take out that high. We'll watch and see what happens. We want to hold above that. We want to hold above this area over here, that top of that wick, 49,000, and close above it. And if we're going to extend further, we looked at a potential area just above 47, around 47. You could see it coming in here, and just checking where I have that line off of. Right, if I were to lower it a little bit off of there, it's also in that area. So I think that there's personally a lot of space over here. And again, overbought markets, they have the potential to remain overbought. If we were to hit that zone, whether you want, and there's also, by the way, it's very important to look at, there's some horizontal resistance above that we looked at originally. If we were to break out above here, which we have now, I want to just go ahead and show you what that looks like. And I could see in this area over here, right, around 59,000. That's a pretty strong level of horizontal resistance. If we were to get in that range, tag what, we said, hey, 57, that looks like if we break above and hold it, that's in play. Between 57 and 59 in that area, that's where I personally will, from a discretionary standpoint, say, hey, I think this move has really pretty much, run its course. And that's the area that I personally would be looking for some type of consolidation, pullback, correction. We'll see what happens, what's going on with the markets. If we could get there. Where you're wrong over here right now, and what to watch out for as we come into this area of resistance. If we close below that 49,000, that peak, that spike of the spot ETF, and that's a warning sign, and then trigger this sell impulse, then likely this move is over. And that's that. Like, you have to be okay with that. You take what the market gives when it gives it, right? And when it doesn't, you just keep strong. You stay strong and you stay on the right side. And then you wait from a position of strength, for that opportunity to go ahead and capitalize. That is how you stay ahead and conquer the markets. No question about it. What's likely to be the next negative narrative? Narratives don't help me. I don't know. What happens? Does price follow narrative? Does narrative follow price? Again, just coming back, Blue Magic, off of the bottom over here during the FTX collapse, and just watching price action, we were able to talk about the previous cycle ceiling. Previous cycle ceiling was not, a lot of people were watching the peak over here of where price peaked out. And we were saying, no. Price found resistance over here. And then you fast forward, remember this level. You fast forward into the next bull market. This is where we broke above, and then you can see it confirmed it as support. So when we crash below, look at that 3 hour Celsius. When we crashed below there during the FTX collapse, we said if we regain that price, that's a major repair. Price regained it and then kicked off a sell impulse. We went back short to stay on the right side until it regained it the second time. Stay on the right side. That's what we called the bull market breakout. We said watch out for from here. Took flip-flopping to stay on the right side, and then we had that confirmation of the trend line break. That was the second repair, and then we needed to get above this resistance, the Luna low, 3 hour Celsius resistance high. We came into it first, banking crisis. This thing could have gone the other way very quickly, but it didn't. It held. We saw CTM 2.0 handle that extraordinarily well. And then we've been able to nurse, I say, because you could say now, that's easy. No, there was nothing easy about it. There were times over here right before the BlackRock ETF, spot ETF application, when SEC lawsuits, litigation versus Binance and Coinbase had taken, we could have easily rolled over and been testing not only the bull market breakout, but traded below it. Same thing over here, right before the Grayscale ruling in favor, the court ruling in favor of Grayscale being able to roll over their GBTC into a spot ETF. Things were starting to look like they could be under pressure, and a test of the bull. It's not easy. In hindsight, it may look easy, but to be able to do that in real time and with the clarity, and then say that's nothing. That's nothing compared to having a mechanical system with the proving edge that keep us on the right side. That's everything. ID, thanks for being over here. BTCX on the 8 hour on version 107, NCTM 2.0, very quick to take profits, right? Biden's shrinkflation Super Bowl was really, really, really weird. I don't know what else to say about that. A lot of people also got a little bit confused. What looked like to a Bitcoiner, laser eyes. Obviously, we know that was not laser eyes. I think that might have been, actually, people talked about an intern potentially posting to have a little fun with people. I think that might actually be an AI agent that they got going over here. That's next level stuff. That's beautiful to see that technology being adopted. Listen, a lot of people looking at the miners over here right now. I'm not. So let me just go ahead and just give a quick check over here. What's going on? Let me check out what's going on with Mara first, and I guess come down to a readable. I mean, look, here's the breakout. And then since then, right now you're coming into resistance. Watch the price action here. Remember we were just talking about that resistance around 59,000 on Bitcoin, 59,000. That's a similar resistance area that Mara is hitting right now. So let's see if it's able to clear above it. That would say to me, maybe even though we're looking at a tremendously overbought market, who knows what's going to happen. But hey, that's a big level currently near. Watch what happens. I want to extend this off of the wick here just to see what that looked like. All right, there's the wick, but it was a gap above. And then if I look at Riot, let me just move that from you. Let me just extend this down. It doesn't even look clean to me. So I guess I had it off the bottom one, right? Isn't that amazing though? You can see the breakdown, right? A regain of the channel. Not easy still, but holding us support, right? By the way, this would have been a cool underbelly taking place off the top over there. And that likely would have been, for those who watch our streams every day and understand what I'm doing and why, that is the best entry right over there. And you can see the breakout, the retest, right? That right there is the entry. And then the late entry, but still good, was on the outside over here, right? So, and similar situation, lagging a little bit, but I see upside horizontal resistance over there. So that's kind of neat. But that's what we'll end it today. There's been all over. And the market is running, though. And it's not just Bitcoin, right? It's the NASDAQ, and it's all risk. And outside of some CTA selling, who's positioned very long right now coming into the markets, it's hard for me to see what might put an end to it. Don't forget, and it's true, a lot of people thought that the end was just going to come back to NVIDIA. A lot of people thought this was it. This is it. Like, we've gone too far. And that wasn't the situation. And then a lot of people thought this was it. And then you're better off not guessing. Stay on the right side. Stay humble. Work harder. We all need to work as hard as possible each and every day. It's why all of you spend an hour every day putting the work in with me, because you all know that's what it takes. It takes the entirety of the community to help and support each other. That's where we are. Everyone, Thanks for being here today. Good start to the week. Tomorrow we have CPI. Big deal. See what happens. Nice to see Ethereum finally catching a nice position. Don't forget, if you look at Ethereum, and I want to look at Ethereum with you, I mean, Ethereum here has been nothing but coiled. I mean, 2022, amazing year for trading, right? Ethereum. But this has just been some super tight coiled price action. Some super tight coiled price action. Look, that's the range you're trading. This is the range you're trading. And Ethereum, the best performer, is now lagging. But I believe that volatility is going to pick up and increase. We'll see. We're getting closer. All right, everyone. God bless. Have a beautiful day. And I'll see you all tomorrow.